got Prophet Marshall Occurrence. So we covered that gang stalking is white privilege that many African Americans are using through Freemasons, but it's all white privilege. You know what I'm saying? It's all white privilege. We clarified that. They can't do nothing on their own. So, some of these black folks get to feel a little power that the white man been feeling. He been feeling that same level of power from the very beginning. And so now they feel a little special because they can experience the same power to play with people and to play with the black man. You see what I'm saying? See, in the last days, whether you admit it or not, we also have a war going on between the righteous Africans and the wicked Africans. And if you misinterpret that war, you'll think we're the sellout. You'll think we against black people. No, it's not that. It's a war between the righteous Africans and the wicked Africans. So you're not slow, right? Okay, so it's possible to have civil wars among yourself, isn't it? Yeah, civil war is very possible with any group of people, tribes, population. Civil war, if you don't understand, you might have heard that word so much you don't really understand what civil war. Civil war is not limited to the American experience or even a term that they even coined. Civil war can happen in Africa. You got civil wars right now in Africa among Africans, which proves my point. But when it happens over here, people think something strange going on. See, it's just you're not educated. You need to look around yourself. Because you can look at Africa right now and what country is that? Nigeria, where you got a civil war between the Muslims and the Christians. That's basically a civil war. It's the same population. That's a civil war, okay? And they're Africans. But when it happens over here and the prophet turns up over here, oh, he's a threat. I ain't a threat. He's a sellout. No. It's a civil war because the Freemasons and these secret societies used black people, and they didn't think black people was going to be punished for it. That's all it is. They thought they wouldn't be punished for it because that's your philosophy. That's your worldview that black people can do whatever they want to do. And there's no punishment. And that's not reality, is it? No, it's not reality. Just like Boosie, the rapper, told y'all, who you do respect, he said himself, y'all got to pay for y'all sins. Go look it up. What you thought he was talking about? What you think he referencing to? All the stuff that you're doing right now. Boosie already told you got to pay for your sins. That's somebody y'all respect. You ain't got to respect me, buddy. God gonna still find other people to tell you the truth. Oh, you don't get that, do you? You don't get that. Listen, if you don't listen to me, I guarantee you, God will rise up somebody else to tell you the truth just like you need to hear it. You are going to pay for your sins. But that ain't in the worldview of a black man. You see? And that's what separates the prophet from the other the pro-black leaders. Okay, I can be pro-black, but I also have in my worldview that you got to pay for your sins. See that part right there? That's 7 out. You ain't ready to pay for your sins, are you? See, so then you can't be the full messenger. You can't be the full righteous messenger if you're not conscious of sin. And if you don't chastise the people, if you don't correct the people, you can't be the full leader. And how many leaders rise up and they don't correct the people? Malcolm X was the last one that was correcting the people. Everybody else just sit back and kiss their butt. Farrakhan. Farrakhan checked the people too. He correct the people. You cannot be a leader if you don't correct the people. Now you see what we're dealing with. That's 7 out. Listen, if you don't correct the people, how are you going to be a leader? So all you got is a whole bunch of people that's culture people that thinking we gonna get together, and these people are definitely imperfect. Okay, so then comes a time of correction. That's how we weed out the false teachers and the false pro-black leaders, because if you was the real leader that you claim to be, that was ordained from the beginning, then you would rise up with correction. Why you not correcting people? Hey, you got all the black teachings you want to have, don't you? All these 5%ers. Oh, yeah. But you ain't correcting the people. You ain't correcting the people. You a 5%er, but you ain't correcting the people. You a Muslim, but you ain't correcting the people. You from the Nation of Islam, but you ain't correcting the people. No, it comes a time where correction has to be done. That's why we're in this situation right now. You know why we're in this situation? Because none of your leaders are correcting the people. The ones that count, the ones that they listen to, the ones that they worship and praise. You are not correcting the people. Therefore, you can act like you're a leader, a Messiah, a prophet, or whatever you want to. You can act like you're a prophet like me. How we know you're not? How we know you're not? Because you're not correcting the people. You're just sitting back speculating and watching. Okay? The full leader, whether you think it's me or someone else, for them or black people or America, is going to be correcting the people. It's common sense. Ain't no way in the world you're going to come in, well, yeah, this happened and that happened and we need to do this and we need to do that. And that's all you're doing with all this stuff going on. You have to, listen, you have to wake up and realize these people are not no leaders. You know how I know? See, it's more than one way to figure this out. You know how we know you're not the leader? You know how we know Freemasons ain't the leader? You know how we know Illuminati not the leader? Because you don't correct the people. That's how we know. And it's too late. It's too late now. See, a sucker gonna go try to do it now. Hey, a sucker gonna try to do it now, ain't he? Well, I'm gonna go run and correct them now. I'm gonna go get to that tonight. I'm gonna go out there on a Saturday afternoon and go and start correcting people now. Do I got enough time today? I'm gonna go out there. Let me put my shoes on. I'm gonna go out there now. Let me put my shoes on. Let me put my shoes on. If you was the real leader, we wouldn't have to tell you to correct the people. Because it would be something in your soul that already is designed to do it. That's why it's like it is. Because all the leaders that count, that they actually listen to, and this is also America, the whole country, the ones that count, that you actually listen to, they are not correcting the people. So how it's going to change? You just being cool with everybody. See, that's what the leaders learn the art of doing. Well, we're going to just be cool. We're going to just say, you know, things going to get better. How is that working for you? Just telling them things going to get better. Or here it is. We need to do better. How many of these leaders talk about we need to do better? It's more than one. So I ain't picking on a particular person. See, I learned, listen, it's too many to talk about one person. So I ain't going to talk. Listen, I'm retiring from talking about a couple handfuls of people. Because, see, you'll start thinking I'm picking on them and I'm hating on them. No, we're going to talk about the whole thing. We're going to talk about the whole thing. Why y'all always say you got to do better? You think that sound bite is going to produce change in your community, that we need to do better? Do you really think that's going to make them people do better? No. You need to sit down like a podcast and listen and correct the people. Like you really want to, and I know you want to, but you're not going to do it. You know why? Because you don't want to jeopardize your money. You don't want to endanger your money. You don't want your money to become an endangered species, do you? Well, my money might become an endangered species. My money might become an endangered species. It might run out. Listen, buddy, let me tell you something. You need to sit down in a podcast fashion, and correct the people. And that's the only way a man like me would even believe in anybody out there. The only way, because you could easily talk about what everybody doing, and you could easily talk about what everybody doing. You could easily talk about the problems. You could easily make a career talking about white America and what they done to black people, you can make an actual career. Did you hear what I said? You can make a career off of what white America did against black people. You can come up and get bread and actually get Cash App hits on YouTube talking about regurgitated information that the white man did this and the white man did that and America did this. And you can make a whole career off that. And y'all never seen that as a gimmick, where somebody gets up and talks about the same information, talking about the same stuff, and he makes a whole career, he or she makes a whole career off talking about the same things. Same information. We all know what it is. In a nutshell, we all do. We know most of it. You done heard it a million times, repackaged by somebody, by the new player. But you know what the proof in the pudding is? Who is correcting the people? Because see, that proves that you are the full messenger, unhindered by the present biased culture of America. Listen, if you was the real teacher, you would not even be hindered or influenced to start minking your words, not saying what you're supposed to say, because you will be designed to say everything. You will be designed to correct the people. So that's how we find out you're not the leader. You know how I know you're not the leader? You got all the good words for black people, but you don't got no correction in your heart for them. You see how we figured it out? You see how we finally figured it out? We figured out that you're not the leader because you're not correcting the people. They need the correction. And are you doing it? No, you're not. No, you're not. See, the ones that got the influence, you the ones that can correct the people, and it'll change their whole mind. They'll sit around and change their whole mind because you said something. Not me, you. If you say something, they're going to sit around and think about it and change their wicked ways. That's how, and don't follow up and do it again. Now you're going to change everything. But you wasn't the leader. See, if you had followed up and followed through and started correcting the people, listen, and you got the ball rolling and the momentum rolling, and you got some momentum behind correcting the people, don't you see what you could do? You didn't know the change comes from correcting the people. That's where the change comes from. Where do you think it comes from? Being a nice guy? How's that working for you? How is it working being a nice guy to the black people? Is that changing the people? No. See, low key, that's what the teacher is doing all the time. Is correcting the people, low key. And they gotta stay doing that consistently, and that's where the change comes from. Because what you're trying to do, change the people or build on good works or build on good foundations. Ain't no good foundations, is it? So what would you be doing, bro, as a teacher? Correcting. You're not building on a good foundation because it ain't nothing good going on out there. So then, if you are a builder, what kind of foundation you gonna have? You don't have one. You don't have a foundation. You have to have a foundation of change in this world, in this America, in this country. Your foundation as a black leader has to be correcting the people. If you don't do that, you're wasting your time, buddy. You're wasting your time. You can do cookouts, you can have fun, you can do all this stuff, but you are not going to get no change. You're not going to get no change out of the community. It's like spoiled children. They want to hear what they want to hear. You don't want to hear stuff that really change your life. You don't want to hear stuff that challenge you to be a better person. So listen, ain't no change gonna come. So guess what happens? See, the preacher realizes, the prophet realizes, when you don't use your free will to do the right thing, then I got to use the system to make you do the right thing. See, America is still behind with understanding this. You don't wait for a man to become moral on his own. You give him time. in this case of America, he's been given time to be moral on his own. Okay, what's the next step? Because insanity is doing the same thing, expecting different results. You're doing the same thing, but why you expect something different? You're talking to black people the same thing. That's my ghetto moment for the day. You're talking to black people the same thing, right? You're talking to black people the same thing, right? How's that working out? No change coming out of it, is it? Not no significant change. So you're practicing a form of cultural insanity, aren't you? Well, nothing's changing. I'm showing you, buddy, I got the goods. Because even if the goods is not put into a format, you see the danger of playing with me, don't you? Yes. So at minimum, you'll say, well, this ain't gonna go nowhere. Okay, don't listen. It wouldn't matter, would it? I'm showing you who I am. You don't get it, do you? You don't get it, do you? You don't get it, do you? Because see, it's important for you to understand who I am, and you can't show me no leaders that's correcting people, correcting them like they supposed to be, which is by those who they are influenced by. If you don't know, people change from those who they are influenced by. If your mama tell you something, you're going to change. If your daddy say something to you, you're going to change. It start there. It should start there, but sometimes it don't. Okay, but then from there, it's going to be other people who influence you like your family, and you're going to change based on them. Right? Okay, so the people that are influential to the community, I'm not saying they have a responsibility. I'm saying if you're really trying to change this community, you got to correct the people. You can't get up there talking about, on these podcasts, talking about where you come from and all of that, and that's going to deny, and then throw these little nuggets out there. The little nuggets ain't working, buddy. That's 7 out. The little nuggets the little gems that you're dropping ain't working. The little gems that you're dropping ain't working, bud. Bruh, the little gems ain't working no more. You got to go in like a real messenger and sit down and bring absolute correction. And then you got to follow up and do it again and again and again and again. Now you're the leader. Now you're the messenger. Until then, I don't take anybody seriously because look, you can talk about all the positive stuff, all the stuff we can do, and people can get money and still kill people. People can get money and still destroy their whole community. After you talk about success, this is why secret societies don't work for me. Because you can implant people with success and they can actually become successful and still turn around and hate each other and kill each other. Get all the bread they want. Get buku money. Getting buku money and still killing each other. So that's why we get respect from kingdoms, governments, and leaders, because we are the only one that can change the people. Governments is not designed to change the people. Governments, back to my other point, governments hand out laws and wash their hands. They hand out laws to oppress you when you don't use your free will to do the right thing as a community. The next step is we're not waiting for you to change. Now we're going to give you laws that make you change. And you don't want that kind of oppression, but now you're in the position to get it. If you don't choose to use your free will, I'm telling you this as a prophet, if you don't choose to use your free will, the next step is we're going to put laws in place to change you because you chose not to change on your own. Okay? You see how it goes? See, America is so behind as far as change because you wait for men to change with their free will and they're not doing it. That's all you're doing. That's all you're doing. You're waiting subconsciously, whether you're doing it to the forefront of your mind or subconsciously. You're waiting for men to change on their own morally. One day. One day you just hope they change. How's that going to work for you? How's it going to work? It ain't going to work. See, you don't see because you're biased, you don't want to address where we're going where nothing is going to change because it forces you to correct the people and bring about the change unbiasedly, being unbiased towards black people. When Hispanic and Latinos coming in, illegal migrants, now people understand we're at a crossroads where change has to happen by force. No longer waiting for people to take their free will to change themselves. And see, that's where you're going to have ultimate control because you couldn't change on your own. See, in another country, this would have been done. If you was in the Middle East and all this killing was going on, you know what the Middle East going to do? We're going to hand out laws, and if anybody break these laws, they dead. Boom. That's it. Anybody break these laws? Okay, they dead. Listen, we ain't playing no games. That's the Middle East, buddy. Listen, we ain't playing. Listen, hey, knock yourself out. Have a ball, but that's it. That's going to be your last rodeo, buddy. That's going to be the last thing you do. Go ahead, have fun. And then we're going to kill you after that. And look how them people carry themselves over there. Look, you got to respect it. I done woke up and looked at the rest of the world. Look at North Korea. Look at North Korea. Look how clean. You can talk about dictatorship or whatever you want to talk about. We're going to get to that. You can talk about dictatorship, control, or whatever. But I tell you one thing. Them people is walking around clean and immaculate and ain't playing no games, ain't gang stalking people, ain't doing nothing to nobody. They civilization moves like a real civilization, and even Trump admires it. He admires it low key, but he don't know the formula. The formula is you can't wait for man to use their free will to change. You can't no longer wait. How long you gonna wait? So then you have to bring in severe punishment, because that's the only way you're gonna change the community. If I give you 20 years with no chance of parole, I guarantee you I change the whole community. It won't be nobody killing and gangbanging in America if you give them 20 years with no chance of parole. If you give people 20 years with no chance of parole for senseless killings, we talking about senseless killings, where it wasn't really like you was trying to defend yourself. Because sometimes in the hood, that's what it is. I mean, you might have to kill somebody to protect yourself. Okay, that's going to be considered. That is considered. I mean, you ain't thinking about no law. If this person is in front of you plotting on you, you trying to, listen, what you going to do? So you got to keep that understanding. You know what I'm saying? You got to understand that in the hood, some people got to protect themselves. For whatever, it could be somebody just trying to plot on them and rob them. What you going to do? You going to get a gun. That's why you even got to have a little more understanding even with armed illegal guns, because I can show you grown men that's staying out the way, that's strapped because of where they live. But they got a gun because of their family, and they got to protect their family and their woman. Because anytime you have anything of possessions worth having, of value, you have to get a gun. You can't even have a woman without a gun. I'm keeping 100 with you. You can't even have a woman without a gun. You can't even have a house and a car without a gun. Somebody been and robbed you. You can't have children without a gun. Crazy people out here want to have children and not even have sex with them, want to steal your children so they can have a child. What about them type of women? What about them type of men? They don't want to have sex with them. They just want to steal them so they can have a child. You gotta have a gun for that too. Well, they ain't trying to have sex with them, but you're trying to steal my child, man. Anytime you get something of possession, you gotta have a gun. That's how it is. That's gotta be considered. However, if you out here doing senseless crimes and you blowing people's head off for a little or nothing, you gotta get 20 years with no chance of parole. That's the only way you're going to change America, buddy. If you're sitting back and waiting for man to use his free will to change, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. I'm telling you right now. Ain't no way in the world you're going to change these people. waiting on them to change themselves. It's the game. It's not even a certain person. It's the game. And as white folks, you just sit back and watch the culture so much, you know all the terms I'm using. Okay, it's the game. The game ain't gonna change because the game ain't got no heart, buddy. The game ain't got no heart. The game say, hey, you can listen, I can get you off the streets. I can get a plate, I can get you some food. I can get you some pizza. I can get you all you need right now. All you gotta do is play your position. That's all you gotta do. I can get you off the street. Now see, for people that respect the game, you done seen it happen. You done been on the streets with nothing. By the end of the night, you got food, everything you want. That's why people respect the game, because they done literally ate off of it. If you ain't never ate off the game, you ain't gonna respect it. That's why if you really ain't a snitch is really snitching on the game. That's what I'm trying to tell you. It ain't just talking about random crimes to the police. No, real snitching is snitching on the game. And that's why it's so hated and frowned upon, because this game feed a lot of people. It's a matter of food or hungriness to some people. You understand? And when the game actually fed you, I done been fed by the game myself. When the game done fed you, whatever game you got that's illegal, and you get money, and you come up at the end of the night, and you sitting back like it's a type of like a magic. You sit back and man, now I got food, I got this. If you don't know that feeling to go from nothing to something with the game, then you gonna disrespect it, and you ain't gonna understand it, and it's always gonna be right there waiting for people. See, you always think about getting locked up. Think about people. I want you to think about the game and what it provides by the end of the night. And that's what keep people in it. That's understanding. It don't mean you got to condone it and agree with it. You understand. If somebody gets in the game and let's say they turn a couple tricks and they got food by the end of the night for their kids, you think they going to turn it down? It's women right now that don't even want to do it. But listen, they gonna trick to get they gonna turn tricks to feed their family. Okay, especially now more than ever with all this stuff going on. Man, I know women doing what they doing, because I know the game. That's why. And you gonna connect your heart to the game, and it ain't gonna change. So then the only way you change the situation out here is that you have to give severe punishment. Because even to the best pro-black leader, it comes a point in time where the game ain't that, and I can't be biased towards the game anymore. Because for a real black leader, I care more about you changing than the game. And I already know what it provides. I already know what it do for people. I know how I can change your life and make your kids happy for Christmas and everything. People doing what they're doing right now because it's Christmas time. It's not going to stop. The game going on right now. I mean, people getting it in right now. I'm just conscious of everything like that. Some people not. I'm conscious of everything around me. You know what I'm saying? So, right now, man, people chasing bread right now. You know what I'm saying? Because it's holiday time. You want to keep them kids happy. Them kids want them PS5s and all of that. And some new Jordans, and you know what I mean? They want some Gucci and everything and all of that stuff, and Louis Vuitton. Your little girl she got expensive taste, and you saying that she got it from you. You know how dudes are. Yeah, she got that from me. She got expensive taste. She got that from me. Now you riding around hustling, trying to get her a little Louis Vuitton scarves, Gucci, everything. That's what your motivation is. You know what I'm saying? See, it comes a time where a leader has to come up and say, okay, let's talk about what the game provides, because everybody just want to talk about the negative part. Well, let's talk about what it do. You know what I mean? Let's talk about what it do. Making these kids happy for Christmas. Huh? When the government barely passing out food stamps by a thread, you getting them by a thread. We all getting them by a thread now. It's on the thread. EBT card on the thread now. A thread wrapped around it. A thread wrapped around your EBT card. And now they just dangling around and manipulating it, and you know what I'm saying, and making you feel in limbo. They like that. So what you think real dudes gonna do? Man, some done went back to hustling. And especially the young cats that was out there getting a little food stamps or whatever. What you think he done did? He done got mad and went back out there hustling. When you see, you know, being human, you see, it becomes kind of jealousy a little bit. Because, man, if you're real with yourself, man, come on, think about it. If you not in one of these lame neighborhoods, I'm talking about in the neighborhood where ain't no police coming over there, and you can just post up and get money. We talking about a real ghetto where all you got to do is come in and get in. I mean, you know, let's not talk about the shooting all the time. Let's just talk about a good day in a real ghetto where, hey, I'm just here to get money. You know what I'm saying? And everything. I'm just trying, listen, man, I'm trying to get back home. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. You know? And nothing don't go wrong. You get bread. Your kids get fed. Your woman happy. You done brought her favorite wine or her favorite spirit or liquor. She happy. Yeah. Oh, you got some Hennessy? Oh. She dancing around. Oh. We finna have fun. Oh. Yeah. And he do it for that reason. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta realize it's all about improvising. For black people, it's all about improvising. The whole game is all about improvising with what you got, improvising as a way of life. And if I can't get a job, I can't get I'm gonna improvise and I'm gonna make this work. You feel me? That's the game, really. All about improvising. If I tell people this, if I could sum up the ghetto in one word, improvise. That's what it is. Everything is all about improvising. From what you eat, if you can't really eat, you gonna improvise. That's why we got chicken and waffles. What you think chicken and waffles came from? Improvising. That's why everybody like that. It's about it ain't who gonna put chicken and waffles together? People that's from the hood that's gonna improvise. The mama gonna make it do what it do. Okay, she got a little bit of waffles, she got a little bit of meat, she gonna put it together. That's where chicken and waffles came from, improvising. Where you think chitlins came from? Improvising. That's why we eat chitlins. That's all that was left over from the pig when the white man took all the other parts. He left that like he couldn't do nothing with it, and we did something with it. We improvised from the very beginning. That's all it is. So when you understand that part, that perspective of what it does, then you understand why everybody do it. Because if you don't, and you one of them Trump type people, you're going to think people just hopping out there off the yard to sell drugs and they can just go get a job. And see, man, you don't realize that how everything has been set up. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to acknowledge that, so we can't even have a real man-to-man conversation. Okay, so then you know at one point that it was people, there was racial discrimination with even looking for work. Remember the times when there was racial discrimination? Well, they wouldn't even hire you because you was black. Oh, you don't want to talk about that. So then what happened? When people went and couldn't get a job, what you think they did next? And now you get it. And see, as long as you don't want to accept that there was racial discrimination with employment, you don't understand how a whole community got stuck not working because they didn't allow us to work at one point. And that's what America don't want to acknowledge. You don't, they're working now. But at one point, these women could put on the best clothes and they ain't get hired. Dude can put on the best suit, didn't get hired. And so then we have a whole history. We have a history of people that got trained to not working because they ain't gonna hire us. So then what you gonna do? You gonna listen in the hood? They gonna drink, they gonna smoke a cigarette and start improvising, buddy. That's what you gonna do. Desperation, especially if you got kids. Kids start crying, you're gonna lose it. You're gonna lose it. You're gonna go back out there. You're gonna go back out there. You're gonna take your chances. When you see them kids crying and hungry, you listen, what you gonna do? That's what's gonna get you right there. But we were supposed to remain righteous. See, that's what nobody wants to acknowledge is God. We were supposed to remain righteous, and God would have delivered us. We didn't. If we would have remained poor and righteous in America, you don't think God would have delivered us? We didn't maintain that position. So I understand all the game, everything. You see, I show understanding. Whether I agree with it, you got to show understanding. See, these white folks act like they don't understand. Well, I don't know why they're doing that. Well, I just don't get it. Well, I just don't get it. Oh, I get it. I get it. Them kids going hungry. I get it. They halfway don't want to hire you because you look too hard. I get it. They halfway scared of you. I get it. They don't want to hire you down there because you look tougher than the manager. The manager's already intimidated. Not for more than one reason. You might can take his job. Then you got them suckers like that. He's already thinking corny stuff and you trying to get money. Well, he might push up on Jenny. Jenny might like him. He don't hire you because he trying to holler. He got this one female in there. You ain't even seen her yet. He already insecure. You ain't even seen her. Oh, she probably like him. I ain't gonna hire him. Man, you telling me ain't devils like that at these jobs? And they could be black devils too. They ain't hire you. You know why they ain't hire you? Because they got a whole bunch of cute girls that all of them, you probably run through all of them. He looking at your charisma, you run through every last one of them. And they already ready. That part. You come in and get in line and you smash all of them. And he already know that. So then guess what? He ain't gonna hire you. He gonna hire some little scrawny punk that ain't no that these females don't want to holler at. Huh? Yeah. You a head honcho, you know what I'm saying? You a rooster, you come in there, you know what I'm saying? He don't want to hire you. You telling me that ain't an issue. See, the government can't address these things. All the different issues in the workplace. Why you really didn't get hired. Oh, you know why you really didn't get hired? Because this dude is borderline a predator, preying on the women, using the job to prey on the women. And he don't want no competition. You telling me that ain't true? Well, look, man, this is all I'm going to challenge you to look at. Don't people's mentality change with every coming given generation? Yes. Managers ain't what they used to be at these jobs. That's why half of black people don't even want to work anyway. You know why you don't want to work? Because you don't want to go deal with some okey-doke idiot at a job. You don't want to work for a cornball. Man, I know black people. If you could work for a good person and have a good staff and you could work by yourself, you would be willing to go work. You know why you don't want to go work? Because you don't want to be around none of them suckers. That's what it is. You don't want to form no relationship with them people, them lame, corny people. And you can say, oh, okay, well, you got to do what you got to do. Yeah. Life is really that simple, isn't it? It's not that simple, bro. Because once you go in and try to do your job, they can make it a living hell for you, where you don't even want to go. And you a grown man, you got courage, you got heart, you real and everything, and just because it's this social connection you got to deal with. That's why a man don't want to do it. You got this social connection where these people are lanes, but they using the game of the workforce to play with you, because that's the only way they can play with you. How they gonna play with you? With this job. With this job, they gonna play with you. Okay, they gonna treat you like they harder than you. Yeah, man, come here, let me holler at you. Man, he a sucker. He already talking. You know what I'm saying? He talking about coming hollering at him like he a gangster. You know what I'm saying? But he using that position, you know what I'm saying, to step on you in front of other females. And this a black dude. Until we realize the civil war that's going on between black people, man, you wasting time, bro. You wasting time playing games. Because you're gonna have to go cross that bridge, and white folks can't say nothing. Sylvester Stallone can't talk about black issues and civil wars with black people. So all these other white folks, whether they down with us or not, they still can't address it. It's just not for them to do it. They can't address that. Sylvester Stallone can't address black on black crime. He can't correct black people. You gonna look at him like he crazy. You just not gonna feel comfortable with it because you're gonna feel like he don't really know what's going on. I just showed you I know what's going on. Because this is how you know. Because I understand the game. That's all you need to hear from me, buddy. I ain't talking about the shooting around. No, I understand the game. That part. That gets it started in the first place. Once somebody shows signs of understanding the game, listen, that's all you need. Even these white folks. They ain't gonna ever live it. Not genuinely, authentically, right? But they understand the game, right? Okay, you gonna listen to a person understand the game. Because he already done showed he understand the game. Okay, so I'm gonna listen. Okay, he already, all right. He said what I needed him to say about the game. Because I know this is a matter of food, eating. This ain't going out here trying to be thug life. And that's what most gangsters gonna tell you. This ain't about trying to be Pac. I need to get this money. I ain't out here trying to be Pac. I'm out here trying to get this bread, bruh. And was Pac really selling weight anyway? Probably not. Pac probably wasn't selling no weight. Because that's the 90s, you know, where everybody could nickel and dime, you know what I'm saying, all that. Come on, let's keep it 100. Let's keep it 100. Pac ain't never talk about selling no weight. Which means Pac probably ain't have no kilos or nothing like that. No, man, come on. But you ain't think about it, did you? And some people did. Some people didn't. But it's all about the heart. You know what I'm saying? If you got the heart to do a crime, that's what it's all about. You know what I'm saying? I don't take nothing from nobody's legacy, and that ain't what I'm attempting to do. I'm attempting to shed light on things as it is. You know, as it truly is. You know what I'm saying? Like I ain't sell weight myself. But I know what it is to cut up 20s and 20 rocks and all of that. You know what I'm saying? But I know what it is to stand and wait on the block for a customer and go get the sale. I know what that feels like. I've done that transaction. You know, so, you know, but that's what you expect of your leaders. Just like Detroit Red, Malcolm X. Malcolm X wasn't selling no weight, but you respect him because he understood certain things. But you ain't gonna check behind Malcolm X and say, oh, he was Detroit Red. Well, let's see who Detroit Red was. He wasn't really doing nothing. You gonna do Malcolm X like that? No, you ain't. Because he really wasn't. You know, him being Detroit Red, he was kind of doing, you know, stuff like that. I think he did some felonies or whatever. But was he selling weight and all of that? No, probably not. You see what I'm saying? See how we become street nerds in the new day we live in? When you look at your best, like Malcolm X, he was Detroit Red. But some people will say you know, they'll pick it apart like, okay, well, Detroit Red, was he really moving something and doing something? That part, that's what they're going to say, but he wasn't really. I mean, you know. But at the same time, you give respect because he understood the game. He was willing to do a crime, and that's that. That's all you're going to leave it at. See, if we could get these other street nerds to understand that perspective, because that's how I see who's real and who's not, or who's the best. Let's put it like that. Because, I mean, everybody don't sell the same amount of drugs. So if you try to respect this dude from selling kilos, and you disrespect this dude because he was nickel and dime selling crack, but he got the heart to kill, you're gonna wind up stepping on the wrong person. Just because he didn't sell weight. What we call weight, right? But he got the heart to kill. He got the heart to sell drugs. He got the heart to do a crime, most importantly. And you'll find a lot of people that'll step on that person right there because you seen, oh, well, he ain't sell no weight. Oh, what? So what? I'm looking at his heart. He ready to kill you. That part. He ready to kill you, buddy. And so we learn to respect the whole jungle. Not just the ones that hold all the weight. That's what the white folks gonna do. They gonna jock the people that sold all the drugs all the way, because that's what they gonna do. Us as black people, we gonna respect the whole jungle. Whether you sold weight or not, because you might be a threat. Just because you ain't sold weight don't mean you ain't a threat. So then we begin to respect different cats on different levels, because ain't no cat sold the same amount of drugs. Ain't nobody sold the same amount of drugs. Well, I sold 5 kilos. You sold 5 kilos. We brothers. You sold 20 kilos. I sold 20 kilos. We're brothers. You're going to see in the game, some people sold 50 kilos. Some people sold 2 kilos. And that's all they did. But you ain't gonna step on the person that just sold 2 kilos. You're gonna respect his heart. You're gonna respect his mind. You know what I'm saying? That's something we learn, man, you know, in the hood. That's why I question people, because even the homeless man on the street, you're gonna respect his mind. This dude might got a blade on him. He might be one of them crazy dudes, you know what I'm saying? Halfway drunk all the time. He got a blade. You know what type I'm talking about? Talking loud and everything. And he a threat. Just to do the kid, he cut your throat. And don't let him be old school. Don't let him be a little old. He gonna demand his respect. And you ain't gonna try him, are you? Nah, go ahead, old school. We good, old school. You talking like this. And you the one with the pistol on you, everything. But you gonna respect him, right? Go ahead, old school. You good, old school. Listen, cause he know your whole family, everything. He know your kids. He know everybody. He know your woman and everything. And he know that, and you know that. Okay, so either you gonna do something right there, or what you gonna do? You gonna learn to play chess and box his mind. You know what I'm saying? You gonna say, nah, listen, man, I ain't trying to fight you, old school. I ain't trying to fight you, bro. No, you gonna get his mind right. You know what I'm saying? You gonna beat him with your mind. You know what I'm saying? So that's a lot of time, because you can't kill everybody. So what you wind up doing? You wind up beating the minds and the souls of the suckers. You know what I'm saying? You wind up showing them, listen, this is how we do it. I'm going to show you ain't nothing. Not because you homeless. Not because you homeless. I done been homeless too. You ain't nothing because you ain't got nothing in your mind. You ain't got nothing in your soul and your heart. You ain't got no regulations, rules and regulations. You ain't got no principles. That's why. Not because of your circumstance. For a black man, he going to understand every circumstance is temporary. You know, everything is temporary. Even having money sometimes. So I ain't gonna judge you based on your situation, especially a black man. A man ain't gonna do that. A woman might, you know what I'm saying, because she feel like, you know, you a man, you should be out here working. But I'll sit and talk to a homeless man and value his conversation. That's how a real black man is. You ever seen a black man chilling with a homeless person talking to him? But you don't see women doing that. You see a man doing it because a man gonna get wisdom from him. He gonna learn from him. If at minimum, he gonna learn from his mistakes. He gonna listen and take wisdom from this dude. He might even give him a couple shots and listen to him. And he ain't doing it to be condescending. He values this person's information. You find some of the wisest dudes on the streets. I'm telling you, that's real. But at the same time, it's a double-edged sword. Sometimes people ain't nothing on the streets, and that's why you on the streets. You know what I'm saying? Because you ain't got no mindset to do anything. You know what I'm saying? And you want the benefit of the doubt, but then when you open up your mouth, that get taken. You know what I'm saying? The benefit of the doubt get taken. Yeah, you can't even get a whole pass on the streets if you homeless. You gotta know how to walk and carry yourself. Ain't nobody gonna give you a pass just because you're homeless. Because then they gonna point out that's why you homeless. Look how you act. Look at you showing out. That's why you're on the streets. You can't go live with your family because you're showing out all the time. But that's the truth. So see, man, it comes down to understanding information and understanding things. That's what it comes down to. You know, the generations is what it's all about. The wise leader gonna tell you about, and this is now coming into my message. The generations of America is what destroyed America. It's certain generations. It ain't everybody. What I'm going to show you, and this is an ongoing message that I have. See, what I learned is I don't repackage my message. Me being a prophet, most of my messages is an ongoing message that I revisit over and over again. And it's a progression every time I address it. Okay? So if you think I'm repeating the same messages, no, this is an ongoing message. My ongoing message is the generations of America. There are 7 generations that make up America. And we have to educate ourselves on them generations. The generations are 7. That's the most important in America. 7 generations. And the generation that destroyed America was the baby boomers. The baby boomers destroyed America. And I'm going to prove that with dates. You know, because they think it's us, Generation X. Generation X didn't destroy America. We was too young. My generation is Generation X. I'm part of Generation X, right? And then you get the millennials after that, right? Okay, none of them is what destroyed America as far as us as black people go. They were too young out there in the streets. Who destroyed America as far as the black community was the baby boomers. That's where you get the founders of the Crips and the founders of the Bloods. I looked up each of the dates of those who were the leaders, the original leaders of the Crips and the Bloods. They were all baby boomers. So the main gang was Crips and Bloods that everybody wanted to be and emulate and start that influence gang culture and all of that. And you're going to see that it was the baby boomers was the ones that was responsible. So in history, you will break down what generation destroyed the black community. You can't blame everybody. You can't blame my generation. We was too young. I was born the year crack cocaine came out. That's how you know I'm young and old at the same time. I was born the same year crack came out. So I was born into that. It was no time before it that I was living in. It was a nice world like the 70s and the 60s. I was growing up in that world of crack. I was born the year it came out. Look at the coincidence in that. 1981, that's when it made its debut. Okay, officially. You know, before that you had freebasing. Right? So I'm going to go through all these things. Okay, first thing a drug dealer should know is when cocaine came to America. Okay? I want to get into all of that. I want to get into when cocaine came to America. Cocaine came to America in December. This month, ironically, in 1898. That's when cocaine made its debut in America. Now, if you one of them conspiracy theorists and you want to split hairs and talk about this and that, and come on, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I'm not one of them people. I'm not one of them people. I'm not a conspiracy theorist at all. That's what I pride myself on. Everything I'm talking about is facts, not speculation, not stuff I can't really prove. Like our enemies, they go around like conspiracy theorists because they can't prove stuff. I don't feel comfortable talking about stuff I can't prove. I feel happy when I can prove it. And I feel like I'm feeding you information that you didn't know, but it's true. I get satisfaction from facts. You know what I'm saying? Full facts. Okay? Now, cocaine came to America December 1898. I think every dope dealer that's intellectual, especially, you know, the ones that get out, stop selling drugs, and then you talk about the gang, you should know this. You know what I mean? You should know, okay, what year did cocaine come to America? 1898. December 1898. 100 years later, 1998, it was everywhere in crack. 100 years later, it was still going strong. Stronger than ever. You know what I mean? December 1898 is when cocaine made its debut in America. So that's how long cocaine been in America, since 1898. Okay? That's facts. All right? 1898 December is when cocaine came to America. Now, I think every drug dealer, I think the whole hood, everybody should know that, because we talk about how it got here and the boats and how it's been shipped in and they let it in, you know, and all of that. And that's obvious, you know, because you know how it's a food chain. You know what I'm saying? It's a food chain, and it's a plan with the food chain. You know, and we was at the bottom. You know what I'm saying? So they'll let us play in the game a little bit, and then they'll make money off our backs and put us in prison. And they get money off that. So it became a hustle. Somebody looked at that and said, okay, well, I want to put more people in prison. Well, I got to put more drugs on the streets. I got to allow more drugs on the streets to get more people in prison. So the prison system became the hustle. Because every time a person do a crime, this is what I like to say, the judge eats off that. The people that got to facilitate this criminal, the attorney, and the prosecution. You feeding all them people for one crime. The prosecution, your attorney, you got it. In most cases, you got to pay this attorney. Okay, so you telling me corruption is not going to come in the middle of that and say, well, how can I keep this going? Think from a hustler perspective. How can I keep this going? Well, we get these people coming in here and they paying for eternities. They paying for attorneys. they standing in front of this judge. They got to deal with the prosecution. How can we keep this game going? That's really where the corruption comes in, is keeping the game going for the legal system, for them to get money off of it, and for the people in prison, for everybody to eat off these people, for them to eat off of us, for them to eat off of you every time you do a crime. Somebody eating off of it, whether you want to accept it or not. That's how it is. Somebody eating off of every time you do a crime. So you telling me a hustler ain't gonna come in and say, well, okay, if people are eating off this, if we eating off these people doing crimes, okay, how can we keep it doing? How can we critique that? How can we critique it to where we get more people? We eating off of more people. How can we do that? And then don't mention that the slave labor that they do in prison for nothing, for peanuts, the stuff they be doing, the little labor, the little work they got. Oh yeah, that's cheap labor. Back to hustling. How do I get more people to do cheap labor in prison? Okay, well I gotta let more drugs come through the system. I gotta let more drugs come to the community. That's the real hustle. Because people will explain it, okay, the boat's coming in, but explain the whole hustle. The whole hustle is not just the boats coming in. The hustle is everybody eats off of this. The attorneys, the prosecution, the jailhouse, and the prison house. The jailhouse and the prison house ain't one and the same. So the jailhouse is where you first go before you get sentenced. And then you go to prison. Right? So the jailhouse gonna eat and the prison house gonna eat off of each crime we do. Now imagine somebody come in and critique it. Oh well, just looking at it from a nasty, bastardly human being's perspective. Oh how we can make more money off of this? See, the love of money ain't cool when it bites you in the butt. And it always bites everybody in the butt. The love of money ain't cool. It's cool when we out here in the streets, but it ain't cool when we get played. You know what I'm saying? When we done got played where they just set us up and they've been using us. Oh yeah. If you ain't doing that many crimes, these lawyers ain't gonna eat. And think about it, this is America. The legal system even hustling, and that's what it's hard for people to believe. The police and everything, they all gonna eat off of you. So that's the food chain. We became food for these monsters that want to eat. And these monsters thought, okay, well, from a hustler's perspective, how we gonna keep this going? How we gonna keep it going? Well, we gotta let the drugs in. Make perfect sense, don't it? We ain't necessarily got to be an accessory to it. We just got to turn a blind eye every once in a while. But then we got to do a little something so people don't get too suspicious. We got to bust some people. That's really just, they're getting too much. See, they don't want you to get too much. They just want you to play the game. Hey. They don't want you to get too much money. That's why they pop you. Okay, now he getting too much money. I just want you to play the game. Be a petty criminal. Nickel and dime. Don't come up and start feeding your family, sliding around the Stacey Adams, you know what I mean? Sliding out the car, Stacey Adams. No, we don't want you doing all that now. We don't want you doing all that. No, we just want you to nickel and dime a little bit and be a petty Bart Simpson type of thug. Where we just get you, just take it and throw your life away and eat off of it. We're going to eat off of it. But as soon as you start making money, they hating on you. That's what it is. And thugs done said it in so many ways. They done seen it. Their intuition done showed them. They gonna hate on you when you getting money. And you almost think that's cliche, but incorporate it into what I'm talking about. They gonna hate on you when They thought you was going to be beat by the game and you just going to be subject to the game and be in their game. But then you flipped it around and you got too much money. Now they hating on you. It's some racist people hating on that. They ain't want you to do that. They ain't want you to go that far. They want you to die or go to prison. That part. They ain't want you to get all that money. Oh, and then see, that's the best. The best be the people. That's why they hate them. Because you beat the odds. You got in the game and got money and got out, and they hate it. Because you didn't fall victim to it, to their plan. Where they was hustling everybody charge by charge. See, that's the full entirety of this understanding of the cocaine coming in and all of that. This is the full entirety of the understanding. Everybody eats off of one charge. And you telling me ain't nobody gonna come in and hustle that and be a hustler about that? Oh, everybody's just innocent. Oh, we just innocent. No, ain't no way in the world. Too much corruption, and they had too much hate for us. For me to believe that they ain't look at it as a hustle. Remember, the drugs was going on simultaneously with racism. So you don't think racism was going to influence this game? Of course. And how it influenced it was, we gonna eat off these people.